Whether jumping to hyperspace in a galaxy far, far away,
questing across the wilderness of Middle-earth,
or driving cross-country to Wally World in the family truckster, all dads embark on journeys. This episode is the first step for three dads on a journey to a new dimension of podcast, fortune and glory. We are three-dimensional dads.
Three friends, all geeks, exploring every dimension of being a dad.
I'm Jay.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Ian.
And we're the three-dimensional dads.
Hey. First off, we just want to say thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
Because everyone has a podcast.
Yes, everyone has a podcast.
Yes, everyone has a podcast. But no, we this podcast, this particular one right here, is new, but we've been podcasting together for like 4 years, and we made roughly 50 episodes, which is a big number. Yes. It is a big number.
Yeah.
As the Parenticons, and we've been friends for like 10 years. So, we like to thank you for coming into our world. I think it's great.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this new chapter as a three-dimensional dads. I really like this angle. We're exploring different dimensions of being a father, and that kind of stuff does not get talked about enough.
No.
I think this is an important topic to have. It is an important thing to talk about, to have these adult male friendships and talk about, we love the geek stuff, and we'll talk about geek properties, but also about how hard it is to be a dad, the challenges, the struggles, all that kind of stuff. I love having guys to bounce things off of, and I hit things constantly that I don't know how to handle as a dad.
Yeah.
Things you'd never know, you don't know till you get to it. It's like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I love having this podcast to be there to talk about this kind of stuff. But then we also have this other fun side where we talk about geek stuff and about like these two-dimensional portrayals of fathers. A lot of geek stuff have really, fatherhood that's really two-dimensional and doesn't have that depth to it. And then there's some geek stuff that has really deep fatherhood to it.
Yes.
Connected to it that I resonate with as a dad. And so I love that new pop culture stuff too.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there while you're saying there's lots of portrayals of dads being very two-dimensional. You see this actually a lot in geek media too, and even just in regular TV media, that there's a lot of stereotypical portrayals of dads. I think that is fueled around the fact that there is a concept, there is like kind of stereotype that men don't talk about things, that we don't talk to each other,
right.
We don't share our feelings and things. Nowadays, I feel, though, newer generations of dads were really multifaceted. No longer, I think, are the days really of the Homer Simpson types of dads where you're just sitting on the couch and drinking beer. I think dads contribute more to the household. I think we're really bigger players. And I think having an avenue showing other dads that we talk together about things, just what we enjoy, but then beyond that, like if people have questions and things, they come and ask us, and we try to help other dads out. And that's all about being part of a community of dads.
Yeah. And, as all super dads or superheroes have, we do have an origin story really quickly. 2005, Revenge of the Sith is coming out. I promised myself I'd see it at midnight. So I line up. I have a book because we had to get there super early because it's back in the day where you actually had to get your ticket and get to the theater and get a good seat. You couldn't reserve one. I sit down next to this guy in the middle of the theater, which is kind of weird because we were the first couple of guys there. And that guy was Derek. And
hey.
I just randomly went to Derek and I said, I hope this movie doesn't suck, because Attack of the Clones at the time kind of sucked. Yeah, didn't like it. But literally just that one line, Derek and I struck up a conversation and a friendship. He was in my wedding. I was in his wedding. We've been friends forever. And then, I bring in, I moved to Salem from where I was in another city, and I'm walking the dog, and I meet this woman who has a dog named Leia. I have a dog named Spidey, and they're playing, and she sees I'm wearing a nerd shirt, and she's like, you know what? My husband is a nerd just like you. Those weren't her exact words, but it was something.
She set up a play date for us, and then...
Yeah. It was something akin to that. Is like,
yes.
oh, you like Star Wars? My husband loves Star Wars. He has all these figures and whatnot. I was like, he sounds like someone I'd like to have a conversation with. And that person was Ian. And then, just things happen. We end up being really great friends. I bring all these guys together. We see movies together. We talk about being dads together. We've gone through really high points in our lives, really tough points in our lives. Hashtag COVID. That's how the Parenticon started. And, now we'd like to just kind of get our new friends out here in podcast land a little bit of who we are as people, and maybe connect with us. And then hopefully they're along for the ride for all our subsequent episodes about all geek and dad stuff. So really quickly, all of our geek lives have to begin somewhere. Mine starts with a VHS tape. Now, I don't know if anyone out there still knows what a VHS tape is, but it's like Netflix in a rectangle, but it was only one movie at a time. And that movie, it was like an inch thick. You could kill someone with it. My first taste of geekdom was Empire Strikes Back on VHS, and holy crap, was it awesome. It was like one of the first science fiction things I've ever seen. No, I am your father. I was blown away, and there you go. Derek, I know Star Wars was kind of your center of life, too, when it came to geekdom.
Yeah, I mean, I could remember some of the first things I ever played with were some of my sister's Star Wars toys. And I remember sitting on someone's lap during a re-release of the original New Hope in a theater somewhere. I was that young. But
was it Santa?
No, I don't think it was Santa. Probably my mom or my dad, I think. But I mean, I remember going to Movie City 5. That was in Edison, New Jersey, going to see Star Wars at the time. But yeah, my sister had like the original the Death Star play set, the original X-Wing fighter, all the original figures and stuff. And then, of course, I just took up that tradition too, because it was just this fantasy world and most excellent of marketing ever. And my family really enjoyed sci-fi. And so that's kind of like where my entry point comes into geek life too.
So I just realized that all of us have the exact same VHS Star Wars connection. And like, that's all right. So this is why we're all friends. So when I was a kid, I was young. I never got to see the original trilogy on the big screen. I saw them only as VHS tapes that my dad taped off of TV.
Oh, man.
So they had commercials in the middle. They were grainy. They were terrible. My dad loved them so much. And so he'd just be watching them on repeat. And so when I was a kid, that's how I grew up. So when the special edition came out and I got to go to the movie theater and see them on the big screen for the first time, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. And like my dad always talked it up of like feeling your seats rumble with the THX sound and like the Star Destroyer going overhead, like how amazing that is in the theater. So yeah, that was my big introduction to being a geek, and Star Wars rocked my world.
Yeah.
So I mean, over time, we all fall in love with all this geek stuff, but you'd be surprised. Star Wars is not my favorite geek property that I can talk about, because it's all of our favorite geek properties. So really, if we take Star Wars out of the equation, my favorite geek property, I would have to say, is Batman. Love Batman. I love the character. Ooh. I love the Shakespearean ethos of Batman, the parents die, the darkness. I love it. However, because my last name is Stark, my favorite character of all time is somewhat very similar to Bruce Wayne and Batman. It is Tony Stark and Iron Man. I mean, I have an Iron Man tattoo, you know. I mean, I love Iron Man. I like rich guys who like to fight crime without superpowers. I don't know. That's just me. But definitely Batman and Iron Man are where I kind of like, I watch those no matter what.
All right, Jake, who wins in a fight, Batman or Iron Man?
Geez. My first inclination is Iron Man, just because his tech is a lot more heavy duty, but Batman I think is smarter when it comes to fighting. Tony Stark is kind of like bookworm kind of smart, whereas Bruce Wayne is like all sorts of smart. So I don't know. I flip a coin.
I'm going to go with Batman. Batman knows how to kill each member of the Justice League, and he would know how to kill Tony Stark. That arc reactor in his chest, he'd be gone.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Before he even knew it.
Set off an EMP.
Well, I mean, I mean, do you agree with, like, you see, this is what I always thought comic books were very confusing to me. There are all these different versions of the same universes of comic books. They're all reborn. Comic books were very confusing to me. So when I was a kid, I guess I would say that my other favorite geek property was, I loved cartoons. Everybody I knew liked G.I. Joe, but I was a Transformers fan. Yeah. I liked the idea of robots and mech and space, and just the fact that there were these robots that looked like real things in human life. That to me was awesome. And I was just a diehard fan of the cartoons. And to me, those toys were just amazing. And I would used to like look at the box, and you'd have to like the little infrared thing to see like, oh, what is, Starscream's, best ability, and like what is his weakness at and stuff on the back of the box. And it always made it this like space fantasy world that was really cool. And that was the other world that just sucked me in more than meets the eye.
Now, for posterity purposes, Starscream's secret ability is kissing Megatron's butt while plotting to kill him and take over the Decepticons.
It's like any other like evil, like, I don't know, henchman trope.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I played with so many people's other someone else's Transformers, and so I was like, the top half I could make into a robot, and the bottom half is still a jet. I don't know how to do that. A leg pops out of something. I don't know how that works. But for me, it was Ghostbusters. Yeah. And again, that was tied to when I was a kid, the cartoons and the cereal and, the toys and all that stuff I was so into. And I currently own a Proton Pack, and we have an episode on how much we loved Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, and how to build your own flight suit.
Yeah.
So Ghostbusters is my other if I had to pick. Awesome.
I live geek. I have geek in all aspects of my life, movies, music. One of my biggest things, the way I kind of geek personally, my favorite is video games. Love video games. Quick story, my doctor actually prescribed video games to me as a child to help with my hand-eye coordination. So like that was original Nintendo. My doctor had me play for my hand-eye coordination, and I played it weird. I put the little rectangle on the desk, and I played it like this, which when the shoulder buttons came out really messed me up. But I played Nintendo. But today, as a 40-something man, I used to play a lot of shooters. I don't play shooters anymore, but I love Star Wars games, all the Star Wars games. The shooter ones that we had. I did love the Jedi Outcast, Jedi Survivor. Starfield right now is really cool. I'm kind of playing that, but I can't wait for I think it's third quarter 2024, Star Wars Outlaws. Take Grand Theft Auto and Star Wars, put them together. Don't call me for like a week because I'm just going to be sitting in my room playing video games.
Add microtransactions, and then it's all over.
Bite your tongue, Ian.
How many 50s did you slip your doctor to say that you needed a video games for hand-eye coordination? That's what I want to know.
Well, I would say at 7 years old, I probably did not have a lot of 50s, but my mom was definitely not happy because those systems at the time were very that's just still very expensive.
All right, so my son and I, there's this huge underground following that, people make their own Nerf blasters, and this is something that we've got into. So I really like doing home improvement projects and stuff like that, like watch this old house all the time, DIY. I've always been in that kind of thing. So my son and I have been really involved in this community. There's a couple local Nerf clubs that get together and play games just like paintball. And so we just recently, Nerf Wars. And we just recently downloaded the files to like print our own blasters out and stuff. So it's really cool, like showing them the principles of, if you put a bigger spring in it, that, darts fly faster and stuff. And it's really cool. We just have a lot of fun with it. So that's how we geek outside of
sting more when they hit people.
Yeah. Or even the types of darts and stuff. It's really fun. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I something I geek out with and I love with my kids is I like to make short movies. So I'm a geek in a whole bunch of ways. I love all sorts of music and filmmaking. And so I make these little short movies with my daughters. And I found this program, and I'm going to drop it. It's called CapCut. It was free on Android, at least. And they have you can edit your own movies. I was just looking for a better way to link clips together. And they have special effects in there. And that turned into, I can make you turn invisible. I can make you shoot lightning out of your hands. I can give you laser eyes. And so with my daughters, we play around and we make these short videos. And that, to me, is like the pinnacle of my geekhood, is putting the music in and the sound effects in and the special effects in, and being creative with my daughters is like my favorite way to combine all the things I love and photography all together. So that's been like lighting up my geek brain lately.
Nice.
And that really influenced us in doing this podcast. Like, we have all this geek, I don't know, want to call it geek cred, but we have all this geek stuff built up inside of us. And, during COVID, when it was really boring, we had nothing to do, we had to release it somehow. And I just love, why am I doing this podcast? Besides the dad stuff, I just love talking about geek stuff and playing What If. Like, I could rewrite the entire prequel trilogy to Star Wars, and it would be so much better. Don't tell George Lucas I said that, or maybe tell George Lucas I said that, or maybe tell Kathleen Kennedy I said that. We could definitely, we could definitely rewrite the sequels because
Michael Eisner is the guy I think you should tell. All
right, I will send him a sternly worded letter. But I love to what if Iron Man and Batman fought? What if Star Wars dropped into a zombie infested world? I don't know. It's just love using your imagination and doing this stuff. That's one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast, is because we can talk about that stuff.
I really love it for the community. I really love sharing what we like about some of the properties with other people and then hearing their opinions about it too. I just really like getting other people's thoughts on movies and giving my interpretations of them and how it impacts our culture, really. Because I feel like a lot of these movies are a reflection of what's going on in the world around us. If you I think about Tolkien, right? It was all about, all the events and things that happened in his childhood and the world around him. The same thing, all the influences of Star Wars, from George Lucas, and superhero movies are just, different tales of, people dealing with their problems, right? The superheroes you see in these comic books have complex lives. They're not just one dimensional. And I really love enjoying taking the layers of that off, and then sharing that with other people too that really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love that, heroes and modern day myths and things like that. Like parables. I enjoy that. Superheroes have taken an interesting place in our culture.
Absolutely.
So I love the dad stuff. That's where I come into this. Is that it's really hard being a dad. You guys have kids that are somewhat older than mine, so there's constantly new stuff that pops up as being a dad. I have no idea what to do, how to handle it, and so being able to bounce ideas off of other dads, I think, is stuff that doesn't get talked about enough. And is awesome and really helped me through the pandemic. I mean, that's another thing that this podcast really helped me with, was having people to talk about how are you doing screen time when you're stuck indoors for years on end. There was a lot of screen time, people. A lot of screen time.
Yes, there was.
We're taking it back now. I think we're all talking about doing things actively with our kids and projects and not screen time so much.
Hey kids, remember that place called Outside?
Ooh.
It's just great being here with you guys, and I think one of the things that would be fun to share with our new community here on Three Dimensional Dads is a little piece of trivia about each one of us. So mine is that I like to do voices. I don't want to necessarily call myself a comedian. I like to joke around, but I do some voices. I do a good Bill Clinton, I feel your pain. I do. I feel it. I feel it. Jack Samash, my brother Bilo is in the cage, and hi. Very nice. Hopefully, that comes across in person. It's great. But my real kind of trivia that I do is I am a beast at 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Basically, if you give me any actor or actress in the last 40 years, I can tie them to Kevin Bacon in 6 movies or less. Put that in the comments on this episode, and I will bust one out for you. I will do it. And that's something from college when I kind of sat around as a nerd, didn't like to go out and party too much, and figured out 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
I guess the little piece. I don't know if I'd call it embarrassing or a fun fact or something that I'll share with everybody, is that when I was 8 years old, I think again it was a re-release of I think of Return of the Jedi. My whole family and I, we all dressed up as characters of the movie, and I dressed up as Wicket the Ewok. And I can remember after the movie, we stayed for the credits, and then when we were leaving, people lined up along the sides to watch us exit, all dressed up in costume. My dad was Obi-Wan Kenobi, my sister was Princess Leia, my mother was a Gamorrean guard. It was crazy. Wow. Yeah, it was just
your mom was a Gamorrean guard.
Yeah, one of the yeah, it was crazy. What? It was absolutely crazy.
That is amazing.
Yeah, doing cosplay before cosplay was cool.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, I'll share my piece of trivia. I also dressed up to go see the special edition. I was the only kid at the movie theater who was wearing the Jedi robes with the lightsaber. I was that kid. That's why I have a podcast now. So I wish my whole family, I wish my mom was a Gamorrean guard. I am very jealous, and that I just found this out today. thanks for hanging out with us and listening to our origin story. If you want to find out more about the Three-Dimensional Dads, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Three-Dimensional Dads. Or email us at threedimensionaldads@gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
We have a bunch of interesting topics coming up this season. Adult male friendships, relationship communication techniques, and a whole bunch in our series Dads on Screen. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Finding Nemo, the MCU. We dig deep on our favorite movie dads. Are they role models? Or are they just two-dimensional dads? If that interests you, be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app.
Now you've heard the prequels. Time to get to the sequels. Something we love to do is discuss dads on screen. First on the list, the Holy Trilogy Star Wars. We'll hit the highlights of those relationships between fathers and sons on the next Three-Dimensional Dads.
Discovering fatherhood in the next dimension.